That is way above my pay grade.
But did you like it? Did you double tap?
Hey, what's up? I'm mic'd up. What's up? I'm mic'd up. What's going on?
Live from Boston, it's Keep PounDENN.
Wednesday, January 31st. Huge show coming at you guys tonight. We have first our official Madden Sim kicking off in just a second, guys, while it's loading here. Josh Klein from the Riot Report's here, and Bobby and also Dave Archibald from Inside the Pylon will join us in the second half to talk about the big game. Dave, of course, reporting from Patriot Nation, unfortunately. My name's Den, guys. You can find me at Keep PounDENN on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Chris is over at PeppaJackNBB. Bobby's usually with us, but has the night off. You can find him at Tacos and Slurpees. And you can find these podcasts every week by subscribing through whatever your favorite podcast app may be, even if they're on Android, Chris. You know the drill.
They're people too.
We have so much to get into, though. Let's get right to it. The Eagles and Patriots, as you can see on the screen here. Eagles and Pats taking the field as a team, Chris, in our Madden Sim.
Wait, who won the coin?
Hasn't flipped yet. I will say Atlanta did win our Madden Sim last year. So we'll take that, be that as it may. We'll see what happens this year. I believe the Pats won the official EA Sports Madden Sim. So ready to watch this. This is going to be exciting. But let's get into our first guest, man. He's already with us on the line. He's the managing editor for the Riot Report over at theriotreport.com. The man you see on the field post Panthers games, and co-host of the It Is What It Is podcast over with Zach Luttrell. Hey, he's also a great drinking buddy of ours, and once AIM or AIM, I don't know how you guys say it, chatted with Kevin Green. Josh Klein in the house tonight. What's up, buddy?
Yes, I was in college, and I don't remember exactly how we got his AIM. Is it AIM? I think it's AIM.
That's what I was saying. As I was reading it, I was like, is it AIM or AIM? I don't know.
I was really the king of away messages, though, when I was a freshman in college. I don't know if that really dates me for how old I am. But
is that on your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, it's on my LinkedIn. It's on my Friendsters. It's literally the first thing on my resume when I apply for jobs.
Smart man.
Well, when you can only throw up Dave Matthews and Incubus quotes,
dude,
for your away message, step away from me, because I'm coming in harder than that.
Lyric quotes were king, man, in your away messages. You could really drive a message home with a nice chorus, you know.
Oh yeah. Do you? Was it just me, or like I feel like there was a point where a step in your kind of macking on a girl, or trying to take that to the next level, always involved a long AIM conversation, or was that just me, just because I was a dork?
Oh no, that's how it was done. That was Tinder. Back in the
That's a really good point, man.
Yeah.
That was Tinder before Tinder.
That was the early version. I feel like we all
Except
took.
It was for everybody. It was throwing out a cast net. That's what it was.
Poor AIM. Rest in peace. By the way, the Eagles. I don't know who won the toss, but the Eagles did punt, and the Patriots received the kickoff of the Madden Sim here. So we're underway. You guys, of course, can't see it. I'm sorry, but you will in just a few hours.
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, Brady's taking the field. Digital Tom Brady, but
Boo. Do you have a glove on?
I don't know. He might have a glove on. We'll see. It's in the game, they say.
Can we do prop bets on the Madden Sim?
Absolutely.
Like how many times they're going to show Giselle in the audience?
Yeah, we actually encourage that. Yeah.
Color of the Gatorade.
How long was the national anthem? We already missed that one.
I mean,
did Pink go airborne during the national anthem? That is a prop bet.
I missed it. I missed it during the load time. Too bad. But hey, and speaking of, we got the digital world here, of course. But hey, in the real world, I want to remind you guys that you both were just called out by Zach Luttrell to take the habanero pepper challenge correct?
Don't remind me.
I'm imagining neither of you have done it yet.
Not yet.
So,
No.
any strategies here?
I'm
Are you guys spice guys?
weighing who I'm going to challenge. That's my real. That's my plan. So I'm trying to put that off for as long as possible. When people say, "Hey, I noticed they haven't eaten that habanero yet," it's like, well, I'm still thinking about who I'm going to challenge. Probably Barack Obama is going to be first on the list.
Too.
Yeah.
Then MJ.
Well,
What about MJ?
yeah. Well, MJ's
He's
probably
on
on
Twitter.
Or LJ, I think. Larry Johnson. That'd be a good one.
There you go.
Seems like he can handle some spice.
So I actually wasn't even aware of this. Huge sack, huge fumble, and the Eagles run it in for 6. No, they don't. They downed at the 10. First play of the game, Brady sacked and fumbled. This is exactly what I dream about, when I have to watch the Patriots Super Bowls. So we're
That's
off to a
very
good start
exciting.
here.
Was
Yeah.
that Fletcher Cox? In
No,
my mind, it was.
It was
Was
Curry.
he wearing
It
a
was
dog
Curry.
mask?
Wow, big play. Anyway, I know you guys can't see it, so exciting radio. But this will
Bad
be up
radio,
on
bad
this
radio.
will be up on YouTube later. But hey, that pepper challenge is I wasn't even aware of it. What are the charities that's going towards? It's kind of like the ice bucket challenge here in
Yeah,
Boston. With Pete Frates and ALS, right?
It's the new version of the Ice Bucket Challenge. I believe it was started by Tom Haberstroh, who's a kind of a Charlotte-based sports writer. And it's basically the same gist of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Donate some money and then eat a habanero and then challenge 3 friends. But I'd imagine you have a lot of people that are doing 1 out of 2, that are either eating the habanero and then being like, I ate the habanero, I don't need to donate money. Or they are donating money or donating extra money and not eating the habanero, or like Chris told me that he was thinking about doing, is eating a little sweetie instead of habanero.
That's exactly how that conversation went. That's right.
Yep, that's what I do. Don't tell me stuff off the air. I'm a reporter. I will call you out.
So there you go. No
Fake
cheating,
news.
Chris. No
Fake
cheating.
news.
But that's cool. That's good to see. ALS. Actually, my family was directly affected by ALS, so anything that's benefiting that is good. But Chris, I can't wait to see this video, man. I kind of wanted you to do it on the air and have to do the whole hour, without any milk. But
Yeah,
you
as
weren't
bad
totally
as my
down with
acid
that.
reflux is, eating a hot pepper right before bed is not a great idea for me. So I'm going to try and knock it out Friday afternoon once the day starts to wrap. So I'll send you the video first.
Big 3rd and 8 here, by the way, on the 8-yard line. But Josh, one of the reasons we had you on is kind of have a big announcement that we're going to announce as we let you go today. So we'll do the the infamous make people hang out for our chat here, and then we'll announce it at the end of halftime, or when we're going to halftime, I should say.
They're just going to scroll forward on the little
That's fine.
scrub
That's
line.
fine.
They're just going to be like, oh, cool, there's an announcement. Blah, 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 blah,
But then they're
and
going to
then
miss what I say
they'll
right
have
now.
to kind of skip around.
Yeah. But anyway, just kind of recapping last week. The Pro Bowl, the big game was last Sunday, and it was nice to see at least our Panthers making a lot of noise down there. I didn't even see the introductions of the game where the cheerleader from the Top Cats was doing the dabs with every. I think it started with every Panthers player, but then it kind of turned into every player. Is that?
I only saw it with the Panthers player, so I didn't even know that it was with all the other players. I'm going to be perfectly frank with you. Maybe makes me a bad NFL reporter. I didn't watch the Pro Bowl because the Pro Bowl stinks, and I flipped it on for about 4 plays, and it legitimately looked like a training camp practice. And I was just like, you know what? I'm out. I have better things to do with my time. So instead, I watched 4 episodes of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt that I'd already seen. Better use of my Sunday.
So what you're saying is bring on the XFL.
Yes.
we did
Love
have
me some XFL.
We did have a great XFL breakdown, which is our last episode up on both. It's on Facebook, I think, the video and also the full audio on podcast. But by the way, the Eagles just scored a touchdown. The Patriots challenged that it wasn't a catch, and didn't win the challenge. So this is really going.
Now
my
you
way.
know it's rigged if they're not winning challenges.
This is really kind kind of what people in Pennsylvania aren't used to. So, yeah.
The refs love the Patriots, from everything that I read on Twitter, or they love, or they're very against the Patriots. It's one of the two.
Yeah,
Depends on.
I heard it on the line.
Totally. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to see the Pro Bowl was at least a game. It was a good game at the end. They were actually had to come back and do a game-winning drive. Graham Gano sticking out in that game. 3 field goals, 1 from 43, 2 extra points, and Thomas Davis is in there with 4 tackles. That article is also up on the Riot report, just kind of recapping what happened in the game, and then Graham crushing it in kick-tack-toe. I actually like that. That's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, and dodgeball too. See, that is what they need more of that in the Pro Bowl. They need more kick-tack-toe. They need more dodgeball, more to get to see these professional athletes that are usually behind helmets and visors, to get to let them show their personality a little bit. That's what I think fans want to see, rather than an offense lining up and trying desperately not to get hurt. If you're going to have a real play, why not let a good idea that I was talking about with some buddies a couple nights ago is you should have every player has to play out of their position in the Pro Bowl for at least 50% of their snaps.
That scares the hell out of me, man.
How much more fun would it be if Trey Turner was lined up out wide in a goal line situation?
Yeah, but then what happens when you've got an all-pro wide receiver playing tackle because he's the tallest guy and getting shredded by somebody?
Yeah. All right, well, it's not a perfect plan.
or what if you're playing, beach football and you end your career? You can't get hurt in the Pro Bowl. That's one thing, Josh. Maybe if you play flag football or something.
Even that scares me, man. I'd rather these guys sit around and play Madden and they film that for 3 hours.
I completely agree.
The kick-tack-toe, that's fun because, I'm sure somebody's gotten hurt kicking the ball. Grammatica celebrated and got hurt. That was pretty funny.
What kind of losers stream Madden games?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
7-0, by the way.
I still can't believe that the Pro Bowl is still a thing.
I agree. Put them on the team. Call them don't even, you know what? Let's take out the Pro Bowl completely. I get it. It's probably a bunch of money for the NFL, but put them all on the All-Pro team. Let the fans vote on a Pro Bowl team, and then give them an all expenses paid trip to Hawaii and let them go on Instagram live. And even, you said something there. It's a cash grab for the NFL. I wonder if it really is. You might not have said cash grab, but a money thing. I really wonder at the end of the day what they're making on it after they pay the winning team and the losing team. I think it was $64,000 and $38,000 this year. Yeah, I'd imagine they're making a bunch of money. Who had it on TV? ABC, ESPN? Somebody paid them a lot of money.
Yeah, but I wonder if
I read this really interesting thing that it had however many millions of viewers it had for the Pro Bowl. It would have been ranked as the 7th highest rating in college football this season.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's how many people are watching the Pro Bowl. Not me, but other people. They cannot get enough of the NFL. That's how much people are like, oh, the NFL is dying. Nobody wants to watch the NFL anymore.
Well, I think that was pretty much squashed when you saw that Fox deal for Thursday night today. So.
Yep, exactly. And so it's like all these things, they get blown out of proportion. And then football is the most popular sport in America, and we can deny it, and we can have all of these issues because football is a flawed sport in itself, certainly professional football. But you cannot argue that week in and week out, whether it's the Pro Bowl or the Browns versus the Bengals, people are tuning in to watch it.
Yeah. And the one thing I did notice, because I did tune into the fourth quarter of the game to collect some stats and such. Well, there was nobody there. Granted, it was pouring. It was really awkward. Here's Derek Carr driving his Pro Bowl team of the best players in football down the field to try to win a fun exhibition game, and there's 8 people there. It was real tough to watch, but obviously it's a show of offenses. The minute you wrap your arms around someone, they pretty much blew the whistle. So I did like that part of it. They are keeping the guys safe, but
yeah, I thought it was more fun. I don't know if you guys watched the Senior Bowl, which is the day before the Pro Bowl. They have a bunch of weird rules in there where there is a change of possession after every quarter. They basically treat every quarter like a half. So there's a 2-minute warning. And in the second quarter, if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. And it's just like they have a bunch of really interesting, cool little nuances to the rule changes in this college all-star game. And it made it more interesting to watch, I thought.
Do you think with like that time with the 2-minute warning, for instance, do you think that's more so they can really implement the coaching they're trying to get these guys? Or do you think it's just experimental, hey, look at us, we can change eventually?
No, I think it has a lot to do with putting these kids in situational situations. Yes, I work with words for a living.
That's good.
I do words good too.
Yeah. And seeing what they can do, that this way, if you have 4 quarterbacks on the roster, you get to see how each of them runs a 2-minute offense, as opposed to, maybe there's only one chance at a 2-minute offense, and you want to be able to see what Baker Mayfield can do, what Kurt Banker can do. Some of these guys, they're playing for their careers. It makes a huge difference how they play in the Senior Bowl. And you look at a guy like Kareem Hunt, was the MVP of the Senior Bowl in 2016, lasted until the 3rd round, and now we see what he's doing in the NFL. So when you can perform at a high level in an all-star game in college, you're going to do pretty. I mean, that says something to me. So I was impressed by some of the guys that I saw that performed well on Saturday at the Senior Bowl.
And unlike the Pro Bowl, they're out there playing. They know that a lot of those guys, this is the last chance I have to make an impact, because I believe it was the linebacker from UCF didn't even get a combine invite, right?
Yeah, I'm going to butcher it. Shaq Griffin.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. Nice.
Yeah, the professional. He actually did get a combine invite because that was such a big story. I don't know how well he's going to be able to perform in the NFL with his disability, with only one hand. But I don't think that's something that should preclude him from getting invited to the combine. That seems like easy money for them to just throw Griffin in there, and then people want to pay attention. People like stories like that,
right?
And I want to see him succeed, and I think he's talented enough to certainly be a training camp body at the very least.
Yeah, man, it's exciting coming up in the draft. We're actually going to be down there, Chris, and I don't know if you are, Josh, down in Dallas.
No, you are. I'm going to be handling the homestead part of it because I have to be here so what happens is usually they'll have the guys get drafted, and then the next day they'll have their press conferences here in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And so I need to be there to cover it. Plus, I don't want to be there sticking a microphone in somebody's face immediately as soon as they get drafted. They're going to be so excited. Let them spend that time with their family, and then when they come to Charlotte, let them get eaten up by the dogs that are the Charlotte media.
Hey, if you were a top whatever pick, is there any obligation that you have to go to the draft if you're like a top 10 guy?
No. Who was number? Myles Garrett set it out last year.
Did he? Okay, I didn't know if 1 through 5 kind of prospects were kind of suggested that they should be there. But
I don't think you have to, but wouldn't you want to if you were a top 10 pick?
My question was,
I'd wear a dope suit.
But would you, or would you throw like a pretty cool party? Because maybe that could be an awkward party if things don't go well, right?
Right, but I'm trying to think. I don't think Jameis went either. So, I mean, there's been a handful of number 1 picks recently. I think for a lot of those guys, they all say the same thing. They can only bring so many people to Philly, Chicago, Dallas, wherever it is. But if they stay home, have everybody over, well, you get to celebrate with your whole family. I mean, McCaffrey didn't.
I was just going to say, because I couldn't tell because we were in the Woodstock audience pretty much crowd surfing down over in Philly. But I was going to say McCaffrey was home, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was still in Colorado with his family. And I get why you would want to be there with your family. And now I've realized that after I proclaimed that I would definitely go to the draft, that maybe I'm a bad person and I don't like my family as much as I thought. Who knows? I feel like we're breaking down boundaries here on the Keep PounDENN podcast.
I like it. Always weekly, if you will.
I'm laying down on a couch right now.
A couple things in Panthers news today. Well, not today, but this week. Ryan Khalil. I don't know if this was a big shock to you, Josh, but announcing that next year will be his last year. Saw some people, or most likely be his last year. I saw some people throwing around, with new ownership coming in. Is there? Hopefully there is none, but would there ever be a chance that someone might look at this and say, if he's going to retire next year, we could save some money here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at the list of potential cap casualties, Ryan Khalil is the name that continually jumps out, at least to me. And you're looking at a 32-year-old center that missed over half the games last year, and I believe they could save almost over $7 million on the cap by cutting him. And whether or not they want to do that, I don't know. It kind of seems to me, and this is complete opinion, but it seems to me like he said, hey, this is going to be my last year, maybe as kind of a stopgap, or
right.
Hey, just so you guys know, this is going to be my last year. So if you were thinking about making me a cap casualty, maybe don't. Let's live this out for one more year. I would like to see him maybe renegotiate and take a little bit less money for his final year, and kind of let the team use that money in other areas, because for a team that went 11-5 and had Super Bowl aspirations, they're going into this offseason with a lot of holes and a lot of question marks and not a lot of money to spend.
Yeah, and that's an $8 million cap hit.
See, there you go.
Yeah, but if we cut him, it's a $10 million. So,
wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's if a new owner has much say in what happens there. Do you think that's more of a Hurney decision?
I do. Do you mean interim GM, Marty Hurney?
Right.
I do. I think that from all that we see from these, it kind of has that feeling of like Freak Out Friday, of like, oh, the new owner's going to come in, they're going to put a new stadium on the grounds of Carowinds, and they're going to move the team, and they're going to fire all the coaches. Like, whoever the new owner is not going to come in guns blazing and change this team between June and September.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. The team that they're building right now, it's one of the reasons why Marty Hurney is likely to stay. It's one of the reasons why Ron Rivera is there, is because this team, they are moving forward as if the new owner is going to act the same way as Jerry Richardson did, and kind of, I don't want to say stay out of his way, because I don't think that's what Mr. Richardson did, but for the most part, he did tend to give his GM the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's what you're going to see out of any sort of new owner. Hopefully,
yeah. I mean, here in New England, you see Kraft kind of. Granted, I guess maybe he did have some say over the Garoppolo thing, but Bill runs that team, and Kraft just kind of pays for it. So we'll see what kind of relationship Hurney and whoever the new owner is. I did see that it's 2 local people and 4 out of state. Josh, I know Chris, you're big up against the new stadium talk, and why would we do that? Never going to have a Super Bowl there.
Yeah, I think
what's going on there?
So much of it's just hot air. I mean, it really is. And I think there was a Joe person that wrote the article today about essentially somebody's going to hold the city hostage, the next ownership group. I mean, it's insane to me. They're not ever going to go build out by Carowinds. It's just all hot air for me and just off-season fodder.
But they could have the 50-yard line could go between North Carolina and South Carolina. Okay. I just think that I agree with you when you say that it's off-season fodder. It does. It's one of those things where when you don't know what's going to happen, all we can do is kind of question. And still to this day, whenever I meet anybody or have any sort of Panthers discussion with kind of the more casual fans, the number one thing that I get asked is the team going to move?
And then number 2 is, what's up with Cam? What's up with
Cam's hats? What's up with his hats, man?
Well, I mean, they're brimless. They're hard to understand.
Yeah,
how do they even stay on his head? I mean, without a brim, where do I put my fishing hook? Is that what's on them? Put those on the brim.
Yeah, that's about right. It. That's about right. Yeah.
I've been so caught up in this game, you guys. Pats just had a huge drive there. Brady drilled again in fumbles and then sacked again, back-to-back plays. It's 7-3 here at the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. So yeah, Josh. I mean, we got 2 minutes left here for you. we brought you on here today. We kind of have some news that we want to roll out in a true podcast-esque way.
Very exciting. Do you have any sort of fireworks or some fanfare that we can play right after? We are really excited to announce from the Riot Report that we are bringing the Keep PounDENN podcast on as part of the Riot Report podcast network. So what that means from you as a listener is nothing's going to change. Den and Chris and Bobby are going to continue to keep putting out that fantastic podcast quality that you expect. Even when they have guests like me, we're going to shy away from that a little bit. And you're also going to be reading some articles from Den on the site as well. And we're just excited to be moving forward. We've been friends, you mentioned it at the top of the show that we're fun to hang out and be drinking buddies. And I certainly agree with that. So I definitely look forward to everything that Den has to offer, and Bobby, and nobody else.
Specifically those
That's
two.
all we got. Den, Bobby. We're moving forward. But Chris, Chris, already off to a bad start. Josh, this is we're pumped, man. We've kind of slowly been rolling into it. I've been appearing in the bottom of articles on the RiotReport.com, but finally pumped to make this announcement. You'll see the Powered by Riot Report logos going forward. So we're pumped to be part of the site. You and Zach have done such a good job. And Josh, you're still one of our biggest guests on the show, by the way. I don't know how that happened.
Heard. Me and Trish Stratus, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It probably because of the Riot Report, but one of our top listens, Josh Klein, down at training camp. So we're pumped to be working with you, man. And I don't have all the fireworks, but a Panther girl never goes bad. So yeah, Keep PounDENN podcast. We're joining up with the Riot Report, and we're pumped for 2018, man. And our first
great year, and we look forward to having some great stuff from you guys, and just keep PounDENNing. Is that?
We'll allow it. We'll allow it.
I gotta applaud these guys, because for the past 2 years, I'm like, guys, we gotta change the name, because people just think I'm a really bad speller, like my sister spells things, and they're like, no, once they learn your name's Den, just roll with it, and that's kind of been the obstacle here. But yeah, once you kind of put it together, I still get comments though that people say it's Keep PounDing and underline the ing. And I'm
well, for the most part, people are dumb. A person is smart. People are dumb. That's not true. I take it back, America.
I don't. They're all
you guys
dumb.
are very smart, and I love all of you. Keep sending me those tweets that say, should we bench Cam for Derek Anderson? Love them. Yep. Love them a lot.
It keeps us going.
Bring back Clausen. Do you get any of those?
No, but I actually send a lot of those, so that may be why you got confused.
I did like how Tony Pike came up this week.
Yeah, we did.
That was a good one. Like I said, my friend
hear a lot of that.
Was a big Pike fan in Cincinnati. So when the Panthers drafted him, he bought a jersey, and I'm pretty sure that he's the only one besides Pike's immediate family, if they even have jerseys. They might not.
Oh, those were all custom made, dog. There's no way they made that jersey.
So, and that
I was a big Fasani fan back in the day.
And that was
big Fasani guy right here.
That was
and it's funny because we led into the conversation about Pike by discussing Panther legend Brian St. Pierre.
There you go.
So it was a deep dive. Week 3 of the offseason already. So
and that was at a time when jerseys weren't as easily customizable.
No.
Now it's go on there, and as long as you don't put Trump or something, they'll make it for you. But
you can't even get a Ron Mexico these days.
Yeah. So
speaking of fun backup quarterbacks, I once told Moore in a hotel bar that he would be starting for the Carolina Panthers very soon because Vinny Testaverde was going to break his hip. And then, lo and behold, look who Matt Moore is now. So I basically made Matt Moore.
Hey, Matt Moore, we talked about it actually last week. Matt Moore out there for if the Panthers let Derek Anderson go, I mean, Matt Moore ever
Is
be a
that
Panther
who you
again?
would want? What can I just? I know I'm supposed to be going, but this is what I do in my whole life: is extend my time in the sun.
That's
You get,
fine. We'll
you get
bleep
a
this out.
solid.
It's all
You get
good.
a solid second quarter, 13 seconds.
What do you guys want the Panthers to do? What's your ideal situation behind Cam Newton going into training camp this year?
Go first,
Is it
Dan.
Garrett Gilbert?
Well, we talked about this last week. I mean, I think we're at the point where, knock on wood, Cam goes down. I mean, we're not going to get a Nick Foles, to bring this team to glory. So, I mean, I think you roll with Gilbert. We talked about Anderson last week at a money value, just not there anymore. I don't think, right? I mean, do you go sign a guy or do you promote in camp? I don't know. I think
I think there's for me, the one thing that the NFL season in 2017 showed was that you have to have a strong backup quarterback. 2 out of the 4 teams that were in the championship game were actually starting their backup quarterback. One of them was starting their 3rd string quarterback. So especially with a guy like Cam Newton that takes so many hits, that is out there with his style of play, and the offensive line being what it is, you kind of have to think about who is going to be that next guy. And I don't think Derek Anderson was a good answer last year. I don't think Garrett Gilbert is a good answer this year. So that's like one of the main holes that the Panthers, not main holes, but it is something that the Panthers are going to have to address, whether they go out and they sign a Matt Moore or even a Josh McCown or my personal favorite would be Teddy Bridgewater if he would come here and be a backup. Or they go in the 7th round, the 6th round, undrafted free agent, and try to get a guy like a Mike White or Kurt Bankert. That is what I think the Panthers need to do to address this backup quarterback position.
Well, my point is you can't put a big number on this. It has, the holes that the Panthers need to fill are pretty high. I mean, as far as, the whole Norwell star talk, backup quarterback can't take up a lot of this cap, at least next year. So that's kind of why I would say I wouldn't care about a Gilbert. But you make a good point with the playoffs this year. A lot of people do, and I just said it. Consider if your quarterback goes down, your year's over. But we found out in New England and other cities that that's not necessarily the case. So is it a position the Panthers should concentrate much on this offseason? I don't know. I would hate to see a lot of money tied up in a backup quarterback again when, the game is going to be so different if Cam goes out anyway.
I think that $2.5 million for an aging bad backup like Derek Anderson was not a good deal. But if I can get $2.5 million for a guy like Teddy Bridgewater or somebody that I feel confident in when he comes in, if Cam does get hurt, has to miss some time, that's worth it to me.
So I think at the end of the day, no matter who we bring in, who's going to be available, if Cam goes down, it's not going to matter much. I just don't think that quarterback's on the market, and I don't think that the team has the money to spend on that quarterback. Because I think Teddy's going to find somewhere where he's going to get to compete for a starting job. If that's New York, if that's
I agree with you. Teddy's kind of a pipe dream, but
yeah, I mean, he's going to be competing for a starting job, if not just handed one. I could see him signing somewhere like Miami, with what's her name coming off injury and hasn't impressed. Like, why not bring that guy in?
Well, you're also the sentence that you said that if Cam Newton goes down, the season's pretty much over for the Panthers. You probably would have said that same thing about Carson Wentz, and they're about to win the Super Bowl in Madden right now.
See, I don't know that I would have, because they still had NFL level wide receivers, and they had
in a good
three starting
defense.
running backs
In the best offensive line in football.
They lost the best player on that offensive line 4 weeks earlier in Jason Peter.
Come on, and you saw this Nick Foles thing coming.
No, I'm not saying that they would have won the Super Bowl or they would have made it, but I would have had more faith if you're telling me Cam goes down week 12 at 10-1 and Carson Wentz goes down. I guarantee you the Eagles are going to win more games than the Panthers would.
It's true.
But they have a better backup quarterback.
Well, they have a better backup quarterback, but they've got a better supporting cast.
That is true. Most teams do have a better supporting cast than what the Panthers had for Cam Newton.
You mean they
I don't know that
practice squad guys?
What would Funches have been on the Eagles this year? The 4?
Well, that's the
No,
funny.
he would have been the
Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Nelson Aguilar, and Mac Hollins. Which
He's
one of those
probably-
guys? I'd put
he's
him ahead of
playing
Mac
ahead-
Hollins.
He's definitely playing ahead of Mac Hollins. He plays a different position than Torrey Smith, and probably, I mean, Aguilar's more of that slot guy. But I see your point. I understand what you're saying. But for me, I just think that safety, defensive end, defensive tackle, theoretically, guard, center, wide receiver, and backup quarterback, all of these things need to get addressed. You can't just throw Garrett Gilbert out there and be like, we're going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Josh, I'm sorry to say the first half has ended 14-3 the Eagles in the Madden Sim here. Really putting a pounding on Brady, but hey man, we thank you for A, for jumping on, and B, for our new little partnership. We're pumped to kick it off, I guess, with our trip to Dallas. We're going to be bringing all the equipment down there, Chris, and
Probably drinking a couple beers, finding a rooftop.
Now that we have some things to do and some things that we want to do down there with video and all that, maybe we drink like at night. Maybe that's our thing to do this year.
Well, I mean, I did drink at night. I just started at 11 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Drink all day if you don't start in the morning, man. That's science.
I'm pumped to see what I've never been to to Dallas. I've never been to the stadium down there, so that'll be fun. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff down there, and all of it, which you'll be able to find hopefully on the riotreport.com, right, Josh?
We look forward to seeing it, and I'm going to hop off and watch this Justin Timberlake simulated halftime show.
There you go. Josh Klein, he's over at Josh Klein Rules on Twitter, and again, the riotreport.com. We're going to be back in just a minute with Dave Archibald from Inside the Pylon. I'll be right back, guys.